Hello everyone, hope you're right. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I am planting some containers for summer display. So this is the first container where I planted gladiolus bulbs. So these are large flowering violet sunset and there are 10 bulbs in it, and you can plant these bulbs from March to June anywhere. So I planted these gladiolus bulbs in this big container in March. So first I'm going to show you how I planted these gladiolus bulbs in these containers, and then basically after few weeks I came back and I planted it with more plants. So first I have filled the container with topsoil and multipurpose compost, and I have added a liberal amount of fertilizer which will help with root growth. So I'm breaking the big lumps and working the fertilizer in the soil. So here are my gladiolus bulbs, combs, and basically you plant them pointy side up, and there are 10 bulbs in it. So I'm going to arrange them on one side of the container 2 to 3 inches apart from each other. So you can see these are nice big bulbs, and I have arranged them pointy side up. Then I filled the container with more compost, so the bulbs are 4 to 5 inches deep. So these are large flowering bulbs, and gladiolus plants can get quite tall, so that's why it's important to plant them a bit deeper so they will be supported by strong root system. So this is after 6 to 8 weeks at the end of April, and you can see my gladiolus bulbs are growing really nicely. So I'm going to plant more alyssum plants in this container. I have already planted a couple of alyssum plants in the container, and now I'm going to plant few more to cover this side of the container. So basically the gladiolus will grow tall and they will be at the back side of the container, and the front side of container I will fill with alyssum, which can grow like 15 centimeter tall, but they are like trailing, so they trail really nicely from the sides of the container. Last year I have amazing show of alyssum plants in my containers, and I'm going to follow the same thing in these containers as well. I started these alyssum plants from the seeds which I collected from last year, and if you are interested in how to grow alyssum for more flowers and an excellent display, I will include the link in the description box where I have given a detailed guide from sowing the seeds to harvesting seeds on how to grow alyssum. So I will recommend that you do check that out. So here I have added another inch layer of compost around gladiolus plants, so they are more protected, because when I plant my alyssums they will go a little higher anyway. So to make the container at the same level, it's important that I do add some compost around my gladiolus plants as well. So here I'm going to plant my alyssum plants on the front side of the container. So I will try to accommodate 6 to 7 plants, and maybe I will come later with more plants once the weather warms up, like petunias. So alyssum is quite cold hardy, they can take a little bit of frost, and we are having like frosty nights every day in April. So I don't want to risk planting petunias at this stage because they can't take that much frost. Alyssums are fine, and as you can see they have got really nice root system, so they are basically running out of the small seed starting cell which they have got, so they need more room to grow. So that's why I'm going to plant them in this container at this point, so they establish themselves, and later after a few weeks I will come back with more petunia plants. So I'm done planting this container, and I have got 10 gladiolus plants and 10 alyssum plants. So I'm going to water it, and it is in my front yard where it gets lots of morning sun, so hopefully it will grow nicely. This is the second container where I have got my snapdragon plants from last year. So I have got 5 to 6 snapdragon plants in here, and they grew really nicely for me last year, and I had an excellent display of flowers. I started them from seeds, and if you are interested to know how to grow snapdragons from seeds, I will include the link in the description box so you can check it out. So basically I have already got snapdragon plants in this container, and as you can see they have started to leaf out. So snapdragons are kind of perennial in our zone here. I'm in zone 8 UK, which is not quite true as our last frost date falls around the mid of May. but we do not get really harsh winters. So winters are quite mild and basically wet, so that's why these plants can survive the winter here in my zone. In fact, this year the winter was really cold and we had like temperature below 20 degree Fahrenheit for a couple of weeks, and it snowed a lot. Still, you can see these plants have managed to survive. So basically I'm adding more compost around the roots of the plant so they are nice and protected, and I am adding a liberal amount of fertilizer which will help with root growth. So basically these plants have managed to survive the cold harsh winters and they are coming back to life now, so they need nutrients to grow. So I have added fresh compost and good amount of fertilizer which will help them to grow even faster. So now I'm going to plant alyssum plug plants. I will plant 5 to 6 plants on this front side and 1 or 2 plants on the back side, because these snapdragon plants are in the middle. So I'm going to cover all around with alyssum plug plants. And now I'm going to do some pruning, which is basically I'm going to cut the dead parts out. So you can see there is quite a lot of dead stems in here which are not looking quite good, so I'm going to prune them, and basically it will help the plant to branch out more. So as you can see, I have done pruning and they are looking much better. So snapdragons have been pruned, I have added fresh compost and fertilizer, and I have planted my alyssum plants which are quite cold hardy. We are still getting few frosty nights, but these plants can manage. I will water them now, and this container is in my backyard where it gets lots of morning sun, so hopefully it will grow nicely. So this is after a couple of weeks and we are in the second week of May. The weather is starting to warm up now. The nights are getting above 5 degrees centigrade, so that's okay. And I have got some petunia plants in my greenhouse which I overwintered in my greenhouse. So I started these petunia plants from cuttings in August, and then I put them in my greenhouse. So few of these have managed to survive, so I'm going to plant them in here. So as you can see, they have got really nice root system and basically they are growing actively now. So I'm going to add 2 plants in this container and 2 to 3 plants in the other container. So I'm done planting my petunia plants and I have got 3 plants in this container, so 1 at the back. As I have got snapdragons in the middle, so I have got petunia plants and alyssum plants around the side of the container. And this is the second container where I planted my gladiolus and alyssum plants. You can see they are growing nicely, and I am going to plant 2 petunia plants in this container. So I'm going to squeeze them in between alyssum plants. So when you plant containers from the plants which you grow from seeds or cuttings, and basically you are going to add different plants in the container which have different hardiness level, like some can survive a little bit of frost and some need warm weather. You can't really do it in one go, so you have to make a plan, and basically you come after few weeks and add few plants, and then you come after few weeks and add more plants. So this is like DIY containers. It's easy to go to garden center and buy plants which have already got blooms on them, so you can pair them up nicely and then you come and plant them all in one go, and basically that's really easy, I think. So these DIY containers where you're planting the plants from your greenhouse, started from seeds or cuttings, you can't really do it in one go and you have to plan ahead. And it takes much more time and effort, and it also helps you learn more about your plants and how they behave in different combinations. So hope you enjoyed watching this video, and it gives you plenty of information about using overwintered plants, plants from seeds and cuttings, and how to plant your containers for summer display. I will update you about the progress of these plants, so if you are interested, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of my gardening videos. You can also join my channel for extra perks. Thank you very much for watching today. See you next time. Bye.